Hi, welcome to the latest episode of Coffee at Kunzum. Hi Nimish,
Hi Ajay.
good to have you back.
Wonderful to be here as always.
I am going to talk something very interesting. Something you love and something I love. We're going to talk books and we're going to talk travel. So we'll talk travel books today.
Right.
Are you game?
Of course, always game to talk about books.
And travel books.
And travel books, why not?
Yeah, because our audience at Kunzum Travel Cafe
Mhm.
wants books and they want travel books.
Fair
Right?
enough.
And there is
Travel.
life beyond my books.
Is there?
There is. Let's be modest.
Let's be, of course.
Okay, I believe great travel books have been written over the years.
That's right.
Okay, I have a few in my mind. Some I have read, some I have not read.
Right.
Okay, and the best part is all of them have been recommended by you to me.
That's sweet, flattering, thanks.
Okay, let's start with the surprise one, which we didn't talk about.
Right.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Well,
I know it's fiction, but it's still travel.
it is travel. It is classic travel.
Yeah.
It's very, very good travel. I mean, it's a tribute to the genius of Jules Verne. I think we don't give him enough credit. We just think of him as, we bundle him off in the zone of sci-fi, fantasy writers.
Yeah.
But the fact is, he was talking of a submarine much before a submarine was actually invented.
Yeah,
And he doesn't just talk of, okay, there are these people who go out, there's a mysterious creature
Yeah.
which is sinking ships, and they go searching for the creature and actually end up on what turns out to be a submarine called the Nautilus.
okay.
And after that, the captain of the submarine takes pity on them, he decides not to kill them,
Yeah.
he lets them travel all around the world with him.
Tell me something.
Yeah,
The creature of Jules Verne
that's right.
and the creature of Jack Sparrow,
Right.
is there any similarity?
No, not really.
Totally
They're very different.
This was a bad creature, right?
This was, well, yes, kind of.
The Jack's creature was the bad one.
Jack's creature was very villainous.
Okay.
This was different.
On a scale of 5 stars, where would you rate 20,000 Leagues?
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, I would rate it close to four stars because I mean, fantastic underwater descriptions. And you went to Atlantis, which nobody had ever gone to before.
Okay.
You actually go to Atlantis. There's an underground volcano. There's pearl diving in Ceylon. Fantastic. It is. I mean, you can read it as an adventure. You can read it as a travel book.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Okay. The other book that I read,
Yeah.
and I thank you very much for your recommendations,
You're
is Three Men in a Boat.
Ah.
I hadn't even heard of the book,
Right.
and when you recommended that, I think it's an absolute delight to read.
It is. It is.
You actually want to go down the Thames River in that little boat.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's the whole. I actually stumbled across it by accident because I was going through Pandit Nehru's letters to Indira Gandhi.
Okay.
And he says the funniest book I have ever read is Three Men in a Boat. And it must have been written not too long ago at that time.
Okay.
So I picked up the book. It's a very slim volume, but as you said, it is such fantastic narration
Okay.
because.
Is it fact or fiction?
Well, the book comes in the fiction category, but everyone says it's actually based on a trip. The characters some liberties might have been taken with the characters, and some of the incidents might not have happened.
Okay.
But otherwise, it is so wonderful because if you notice, a lot of the travel books that we read,
Yeah.
a lot of travel books that we read tend to get a bit tedious.
Okay.
They start describing the culture of the place. They start describing, shall we say, what it looks like.
Yeah.
Three Men in a Boat somehow did not fall into that trap. They were still talking about 4 people, 3 men. There was a dog too.
Okay.
So 3 men and a dog. There are 4 people. Each has its own personality. Whether it's opening a can of pineapple, I mean, that chapter is fantastic. He just devotes 2 pages to how they tried to open a can of pineapple, and it's amazing. A person almost gets skinned in the process.
Did you tell me the name of the author?
Jerome K. Jerome, God bless him. Very good.
Okay. And so Jerome didn't give enough credit to the poor dog on the cover.
He did.
Not in the title.
He did. This is called 3 Men in a Boat. Not including the dog.
It
Not
says in the
to mention the
title.
dog. Not to mention the dog. Yes.
Okay. And then we come to the other dog, River Dog.
Which is, of course, good God, another amazing book.
That's Mark Shand trying to go to the origin of the Brahmaputra, right?
That's right.
But he doesn't actually reach there, or does he? But let's not be a spoiler.
That's not going to be a spoiler.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
But how do you rate that book?
It's fantastic. It shares one
Beyond
of the-
fantastic. How do you rate the book?
Very, very high. I mean, I would rate it almost on par with Three Men in a Boat. It's not as elegantly written.
Okay.
Three Men in a Boat is very, very good writing.
Okay.
But what it shares with Mark Shan's book is humor. Okay. The traveler is not going there on a mystic trip to cleanse himself of his sins or something.
Mm-hmm.
He is traveling because he wants to have fun.
Okay.
He wants to see new things and he wants to feel happy.
Okay.
And he doesn't care what he comes across as.
Okay.
You read Mark Shand. Mark Shand's first book, incidentally, was something I think it was called Travels with My Elephant.
Okay.
And he says when I first saw an elephant, she was standing there in a very sensual pose. Now, a person talking about an elephant and saying that she was standing like a courtesan with a sensual pose, an elephant for God's sake. You get the idea.
Okay.
Mad dog's an Englishman,
Yeah.
but this man is not afraid to admit that he's mad.
Okay.
So he is absolutely irreverent towards everyone, towards himself, but he loves that dog.
But Mark Shand is purely non-fiction.
Purely non-fiction, it's a real trip. It's a real trip, they have photographs.
Okay, awesome. So, 3 Men in a Boat out of 5.
3 Men on a Boat out of 5 is a perfect travel book, it gets 5.
And River Dog?
River Dog gets 4.
Okay. And give me one more recommendation for a travel book that I must read this weekend.
Well, I don't know that really comes into classic travel or not, but I would say John Crocker's Into Thin Air.
What's it about?
It's about an expedition to Everest in the mid-90s which went horrendously wrong.
Okay.
And it actually captures a very essential part of what travel is becoming nowadays. Because evidently right now, if you want to climb Everest, you don't have to be a mountaineer. You actually can go hire a guide, and part of the guide's, shall we say, justification for salary is to get you to the top, get your photograph, put it on Facebook and come down. Now, of course, Facebook wasn't around at that time. But the whole idea was you had these celebrity climbers who have no experience and who still insisted on climbing Everest because I can say I was on Everest and there's a big picture of me in the living room. Hey, that's me on Everest.
Okay.
So on paper, nothing normally goes wrong, but when it goes wrong very badly.
So short of airdropping you on the peak, they're doing everything.
They're doing everything. They're hand holding you all the way to the top.
Okay.
And this is about an expedition where a lot of travel guides were taking their clients towards the peak of Everest.
Yeah.
They got a weather forecast saying there are going to be high winds, there are going to be problems, turn back.
Okay.
And they thought we're experienced enough, maybe we'll get one more person over the top.
Yeah.
And it actually got too late. Now, Shand himself climbs a bit, but he's not a climber in the, shall we say, in the Hillary class or something.
Yeah.
He's not a professional climber per se. He's mainly a writer.
Okay.
So what we have is a writer who also climbs, describing what happened.
Okay.
It is a spine-chilling book. If you want to sleep well over the weekend,
Yeah.
I won't recommend it. But if you really want something that will give you the feel of Everest and de-romanticize it, it's not, shall we say, it's not this wonderful gift of nature. It is a deadly place, and you're helpless when nature turns on you. That's a book.
I believe there are multiple books on the same expedition.
That's right. Shand's book accused quite a few people of wrongdoing.
Okay.
And one of the people who was accused was a very famous climber, I think, from the former Soviet Republic. I think. He was a man called Anatoly Bukhriev.
Okay.
And Bukhriev wrote another book called Climb. But the problem is, Bukhriev was a climber, he was not a writer.
Okay.
Crocker is a writer, he's a proper writer.
Okay.
The result is, the descriptions you get, the howling of the wind outside the tents, a person coming out saying, look, we are in trouble, help us. I mean, it's despair, but it's fantastic.
How many stars?
4.5 out of 5 at least.
Wow. So we've got a few great books to be read this weekend.
That's right.
And possibly take on our journeys. And
Absolutely.
We'll talk again because there are actually a whole bunch of travel books out there that I like to discuss with you. But we'll do that next time we have coffee.
Absolutely, delighted.
Thanks for coming over.
Yes.